My guest today is Josh Noffke, a practicing attorney and fractional CLO, which I love fractional C-suite. It's awesome. And he's the founder of Brass Tax AI Consulting and Noffke Law. Josh helps lawyers and other professionals build practical, compliant AI workflows for real operations. So think about this. First, confidential lead gen scoring that doesn't leak data. Second, inbox triage agents that draft, sort, and escalate with humans still in the loop. And I can't wait to talk about that one because I need this. And third, even AI-powered searchable data rooms for M&A deals, which is awesome. So we're digging into AI, law firms, the right first AI project, the guardrails you just can't skip, and a few quick wins that you can swipe this week, plus whatever tangents we can't resist. And we've already been talking for a half hour.
Literally. Love it.
Absolutely. So Josh, welcome to the show. Let's get into it. Welcome to your Profitable Law Firm podcast. I'm Kelley Brubaker, your dedicated host, passionate about empowering law firm owners. Let's dive into the hidden strategies that lead to overflowing profits, scaled growth, and thriving lives. And this is where overwhelm transforms into confidence, enabling you to create and enjoy your dream firm and your dream life.
Thank you so much for having me, Kelley. I appreciate you. We obviously met back first in Austin, I think, was when we first actually met. I've been following you for a long time. Huge fan of the stuff you're doing. You just got to 100 podcast episodes. That's dope.
Yeah.
Super dope.
Awesome.
And then the amount of value you give on a daily basis, your marketing inspiration for me, because it is, hey, give more value. Gary Vee says, jab, jab, right hook, right? Give
Absolutely.
value, give value. So happy to be on and appreciate you having me. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we were both on the AffiniPay, My Case Law Pay, blah, 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 virtual webinar in March of 25. And oh my God, like it was just the best group of people.
Cool people.
The room we were in was just amazing, good energy and so much knowledge and value in that room. And they take us to dinner and just the conversations continued. And it's amazing. And so I am definitely grateful to AffiniPay and all the affiliate, their entities for these opportunities to connect me with other people. And so, so you and I had been talking about AI because I am a huge fan. I have from day one, I will tell you, I went into accounting and the more I got into it, I'm like, if I have to sit and freaking write out on ledger paper transactions with pencils, I'm going to kill myself. I can't do this. Now I graduated in 95. Okay. So luckily I came in right as, as I'm graduating, computers are, widely accepted to this point. And because I would have never made it. So I love technology. And as soon as I heard about, Chat GPT, I'm all over it. Claude, Google Notebook LM, which I have for very special projects. It's not my ultimate favorite, but for certain projects, I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. Cause I can
language.
Focus, right? You can focus into a very specific thing and put the blinders on it. Like you can't do that with the others. So that's what I really like about, Notebook LM, but yeah, so you and I had been talking about AI and I just love the things that you're doing. And, and then the facts of, having your, consulting business where you're teaching people because, and then this was like, I just had such a struggle and I don't know if you had the same thing. So this November will be the 20th anniversary that I've had my firm. So I started in November of 2005. I was so freaking alone. Like seriously, I only knew nobody in my family had been self-employed. My parents were like, you did what? You quit your job. You're not going to have you're not going to have health insurance. You're not going to, and I'm like, it'll be fine.
Yep. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
I was like, I'll figure it out. And so, and when I first started, I only knew maybe 2 people that had owned their own business. And the one was a CPA and he was like, yeah, I'll talk to you, but I'm not really telling you anything because it was all a big secret. Like he figured it out. So I should figure it out. And I just struggled for the longest time. You know what I mean? And so it was just so lonely. I didn't have other people and it just took me the longer I mean, the best thing was I opened my door and all of a sudden I was doing anything for everybody, which was just the wrong way to start this. But as I, started getting my small business clients, now I have people that I can talk to. And or I at least see in history, I can see the history of the things I don't want to do. But it took me over time to start networking with other people not in my location, because then people were like more like, oh, I can share this information with you because we're not direct competitors, like all pre-COVID,
It's a big,
right?
it really is.
Oh my God. And so, yeah, pre-COVID was great because I could go to conferences, meet people, and they were just so open and willing to share things. And then once COVID hit, everybody went back into their, you know, like, I don't know, like, I don't want everybody to steal my stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, share the knowledge. Like, because there, as much as there's competitors, I mean, you and I both have competitors, but you know, I share so much because I want people who, that need that one little nugget of information just to get over whatever their thing is right now. And so, yeah, I don't know, but definitely let's talk about AI. So what, so where do you want to head with this conversation?
Well, I think you just hit on a bunch of really critical points. So when I started my firm, I officially started my firm 100% on my own. So I was working as a contractor for another attorney, and I sent him an email on March 15th, 2020. And I said, my guy, his name is Alan, absolute great guy, taught me how to do legal ethically, very great guy. And I said, hey, I'm going out on my own. And at that point, I was working with Kim Bennett, and so I was developing my subscriptions. Love Kim. I was developing my subscriptions, and I had 5 clients signed up, ready to go. So some of them had been signed up in January, some of them had been signed up in March, and then COVID hits in our area, at least in Michigan, March 17th. March 31st, I get 5 cancellations. So instead of 2,500 in my pocket at April 1st, I'm now sitting with 0 with groceries and saying, hey, supply chain disruption. So anyway, that was my technical introduction to 100% on my own. I had done projects on my own, but
that is jumping off a cliff.
Trial by fire. And when you say, alone, and I think this is actually one of the biggest benefits, especially for the professions that both you and I operate in. When you use AI in certain ways, it can be all these things that lawyers think they don't have the time for, like a therapist. Now, am I advocating that it replace therapy or whatever the case may be? Absolutely not. But at the same time, you can have someone to talk to. So it does alleviate a little bit of that aloneness. One of the last podcasts I did with Jared, he was asking me about something, and I said, well, and then we talked about it and we went back and forth through the pros and the cons. And he says, hold up, Josh, did you just refer to you and your AI as we? And I went, wait, don't you? Absolutely.
I need my little heart reactions here. Where are my little reactions?
That's right.
Because let's do.
I'm gonna stand by it.
Oh yeah, we got the little hearts going up.
That's right. Love it. I love it. And it really was. It was hey, this is a, it's my COO, it's my CFO to a point. I have those people in my life that do that type of thing for me, but how can I argue against this person to, an expense claim that I'm trying to make that she doesn't want to make, right? And it really does. It gives you this brainstorm partner, and it really helps with that alone component when you're just sitting there, especially as a fractional CLO. You're sitting drafting documents so much of the time. Sometimes you just need to yell at someone, and then you can say, I'm sorry, even if it costs OpenAI compute credits, don't worry about it. Go ahead and talk to him about it, right? And 2, also how to handle interpersonal components. So one big thing I use AI for when I go into a negotiation, not only do I prep for that negotiation with AI, but I will also use it to make sure that I have all the notes that I need, right? So it really has transformed how I work. And really when it came out in full force, I didn't get my ChatGPT access until I think January 2023, which was about 3 months after. And, I probably used it for about a week, and I literally said, holy shit, this is
absolutely.
This is, I couldn't comprehend everything it is now.
Right.
But at the same
Right.
time, I knew it was going to change things, like the internet changed things, like cloud computing
Yeah.
changed things.
Absolutely.
And I fell in love
Absolutely.
with it at that point because it allowed the impact of someone like me who wanted to do things differently, neurodivergent soul who probably couldn't take the traditional orders from a big law firm, to say,
Yeah.
hey, let's go forward in a way that you want to create, and a way that you want to serve your people, and in different ways to be able to work with people. And
Yeah.
in a form, it's a form of my authenticity, right? Hey, I'm going to
Yeah.
deliver top notch, top shelf work product across the board. I'm going to custom tailor that suit, and I'm going to
Yeah.
use AI to do it. And I think that's actually one of the biggest misconceptions with so many professionals, is they think the only use for AI is to save time.
Right. It's not.
That's one of my biggest
Yeah.
beefs, actually. And
Yeah.
I say, hey, take the exact same time you would have taken otherwise, but elevate your work products. Right?
Absolutely.
Charge more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're a fan of that advice.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, know your worth. I mean, that's really what it comes down
Absolutely.
to. I
Absolutely.
mean, because I started my career in Big Four, and I think by the time I left, I was a senior manager. I was probably being billed to clients at like 400, 450 an hour, and I was on the audit side. But I couldn't go, which I went in industry. I was CFO of a bank, and so I did other things, and then started my own firm. But I couldn't just start my own firm and start billing at 450 an hour. Nobody was going to pay it because it was completely different. I
Right.
went from audit to publicly traded international companies to um, small local businesses, owned and operated, not franchises, so it was just a,
Yeah.
different thing. But it got to where, I think I did my first tax return for somebody for like $100. And I look back and I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking?
I'll
I
take
was
it.
thinking I wanted everybody to like me. That's what I
And
wanted. I wanted everybody to like me. But if I'm not profitable, I can't continue to work. That's what it comes down to. And it took me a really, really long time. I mean, I grew up in a very blue collar household. My mom was a stay-at-home
likewise.
mom until my younger brother, when he started kindergarten, and then she started off like selling Avon, and then got a part-time retail, job. And my dad was a full-time fireman. And it was just work, work, work. You work and you get paid fair, like work hard, get paid fair, do your things, save your money and all that. And it was very hard for me to shift into being a business owner because I kept putting myself into my customer's shoes. So I would think, as a client, would I really pay somebody $400 to do a tax return? No. But in my head, it's because I have the skills to do it. So yeah, I'm not going to pay somebody. But over time, I'm divorced. I couldn't do that on my own. So, and I don't even remember how much my attorney was, probably like $300 an hour. Send me the bill. Like I can't.
Yep.
So and I'm not going to negotiate your rate. I mean, just whatever it is, it is. But, I'm like, I can't, obviously I don't want to spend 10 grand on this, but like, I can't do it by myself. So I need the help.
Right.
And that's where so it's hard. I think a lot of people have a hard time because they're always internalizing, like, so I go through exercises with clients, and a lot of times, we'll talk about, how much do you need personally to live on? And then let's work backwards. So if you need $100,000, because I don't care what your lifestyle is, I don't care if you need $100,000 or $500,000 or 50,000. I don't care what that is. Live your life, but let's work backwards. And just so you can understand how much your firm needs to make, pay its overhead, and then get you that money. And, we're going to make sure we save money for taxes. And so it's just a whole different viewpoint of how your firm's going to generate money for you. But I love like the AI tools. I mean, we were talking beforehand. I use ChatGPT all day long, and I use it just as much for personal stuff. I was sharing about how I have a split rail fence and I'm going to pull it out. And I already have, I'm so lazy. The posts are already dug, right? Like the posts are already in the ground.
Not
And
lazy,
I already
efficient.
knew.
Efficient. Let's go.
Efficient.
Let's go.
Opportunistic.
There you
And
go.
so as I pull each post out, I'm going to plant a pine tree because I wanted privacy. And so now I'm going to keep my fence line, but it's going to be a pine tree. It's just going to be pine trees. But I use ChatGPT to help me to figure out when, because I know nothing. I have the brownest thumb ever. It's amazing if I can keep a plant alive for like 2 weeks. And
I can challenge you
so
for that. I might challenge you for that. We'll see.
And so, I'm just like, ChatGPT, ask me questions to help me plan how I'm going to do this. When do I do this? What are the best pine trees? Like, what would be the most stable to buy? And where can I even get them locally? And I live in Akron, Ohio. And so so it's just amazing. It's definitely not a cheap way. Like AI, it's such a tool that I'm now not spending all this time researching in, 10,000 websites that are half are going to be conflicting, right? I mean, because, opinions. But I just love, I mean, and I just can't even, like you said, I can't comprehend some of the stuff that AI can even do for us. So, I don't know.
Likewise,
So,
frankly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm to a point where I would love to be able to have AI, if I can get ChatGPT to read through my inbox every day and be like, these are, routine subscription emails. You can read those whenever, but these are client things that you need to prioritize and sit down. And because I am neurodivergent, and I've got points in the day where I just have to close my email, because I will just sit glued to my email, right? So how would I'm going to get off this podcast and I'm going to start, like, how am I going to have AI help me with monitor my inbox?
Great question. I hear this all the time, and a lot of people use VAs for it. So a lot of very high performing people, especially who run multiple businesses, will have
Yeah.
a VA solely dedicated to email, right? And they'll hire it from Costa Rica, Philippines, wherever of work. There are plenty of websites out there you can do that stuff with. With AI, I like AI because you can give it context that the people who work for you, I don't care how motivated they are to rise in ascension, they're only going to care so much, right? They wouldn't be there if you weren't.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and fair enough for AI, same thing, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be there if you weren't paying it.
Yeah, it's true.
But at the same time, it's a little bit more willing to kind of go the extra mile in terms of like teaching you things, figuring out the why of why you're doing things. So for email triage, hey, let's really get in. Let's actually use AI to build a comprehensive training document that says, these are the types of AIs that come in. These are the types of clients and types of emails I need to pay attention to. And then you build a custom GPT for that, or you build your own agent in a software called N8N, which, I highly recommend everyone to check out. Now, if you're not a coder, and most, let's face it, most lawyers, most professional CPAs don't have time to screw around with this stuff, right? And so, kind of like you said, hey, I'm going to pay a divorce lawyer because I'm not going to do that. So, I'm not going to sit down and do my books. I'm not going to do my FP&A and all of this financial planning and analysis that you know how to do. I'm going to pay someone who knows more than I do to help me cross that bridge because I don't have 100 hours to learn it and then apply it probably shittily, right?
Right, exactly. Because you don't know. Exactly. So what is it? Isn't like you have to do something 10,000 hours to be good at it? Like I'm pretty sure it's 10,000 hours, but
that's right. And so AI just gets you a lot of information to be able to help not only direct those people that you hire, which I think is great, and spending time. One of my best tips is always, hey, spend the time to do the pre-mortem, right? Plan your work and work your plan. That's one of my absolute.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
Absolutely. And that comes from athletics, right? But at the same time, spend some time figuring out your prompt. So many attorneys especially attorneys are directed to, hey, be as succinct as possible, get in your input, get out your output. That's kind of counterintuitive for AI.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to take the time to make sure that you get a good scope of what you're looking at, right? So as its role, what role is it playing? What task are you asking it to do? What's the context of that task? Who are the parties involved? And that takes some time to do as well. But once you're able to define it really nicely, and once you get that plan that you're then able to work, your work takes half the time. And that's where you really see the benefit, right? And we're only talking about basic prompting. So you start getting into agentical AI and all sorts of the different possibilities, and I think ChatGPT, as we're recording this podcast, I think we're 10 days into ChatGPT's release of their agent feature. I haven't gotten it yet, to which I've written many angry emails.
Come on, Sam, just release it already.
No, man, let's go. but I've used other agential platforms like Manus.ai. So I coded, and I've been through website developers like crazy, and to the tune paying thousands of dollars to get, no offense, but subpar work products.
Right.
And
Right.
hey, I want something simple, but I want it to look good.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
So I started on this journey with Manus. I think overall it took me about 10 hours to get the website built, and then another 5 hours to figure out how to push the code. And now I know how to do that. So the next time it's going to take like an hour, right?
Right. Right.
And, that was for $200 a month, right?
Nice.
And that's on the highest value. So instead of paying thousands over years to not get a website up, now I have a functioning website that does everything I needed to do and gets the information, right? So thinking about the different things that you can accomplish with AI, especially as a solopreneur or a small business, I think there's more actionability for some of that type of stuff, but also as you scale up into higher end law firms or bigger law firms, figuring out how to make your data work for you. And I think that's one of the biggest things that, you have these guardrails from an ethics standpoint that you've got to maneuver and
Absolutely.
But also at the same time, the potential there is crazy, right? Think about your own clause library and you start thinking about different things that I used to rely on, right? And I'm still a Law Insider subscriber because they do a bunch of great stuff all over the place. But I've largely kind of replaced that with my own clauses. It's not just SEC filings. It's, hey, I now have searchable stuff where I can say I need a force majeure clause and
absolutely,
agreement, right? Whatever it is. And figuring out which tool does what best, which tool fits into your existing components.
That is true. Yeah, I've changed over time. I started with ChatGPT. I kind of flowed into some others, and then I keep coming back to ChatGPT. But you're right; they're all different, but like just prompt scripting, like just writing a prompt, that it took me, because my first prompts were probably the same as everybody else's, very basic. And it took me reading articles of others saying, here, I use this prompt. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I need to tell it, treat me at, consider that I am, a small business owner. I, blah, 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 whatever, the more information you give it, you now get the information, you get a better answer back. Right.
Absolutely.
And then again, I could put the same
input dictates output. Absolutely.
Exactly. And then I've taken the same prompt and put it in different, Perplexity and Claude and all that, and you get different answers. And so I'm like, okay, now, but I mean, I just use it so much for things that, so I published a new book a couple weeks ago, but I'm like,
congrats.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I need, so like right here. So I had one, I did this like 2 years ago. And then now I have Plugging the Leaks, 10 Ways Lawyers Waste Money.
Let's go.
But
please send me a link. I'm going to buy that after.
Awesome. PDF is free. PDF is free if you want to buy the paperback. Yeah, the paperback's on Amazon. But I wrote it. I wrote all my things, but I'm like, I don't feel like this flows right. So I took my table of contents, I put it into ChatGPT, and I'm like, what would be a better flow for people reading this? Like, and so it came back and said, I was moving, like you know what I mean? It just reorganized my thing. And then once I was done, I'm like, ooh, it'd be really cool is if I had an index at the back that has this topic and it's on these pages. So I put my whole manuscript into ChatGPT and said, give me an index. And it spit back out and said, here, because I had the page numbers on it. And so it went through and just said, here's your index. It's, this topic is here. This topic is here. I would have never done that.
Awesome news. Okay. And think about how much time that saved you or your publisher, or how much money it saved you to pay a publisher.
Hours. Exactly.
Way beyond, right?
Amazing the stuff that I get out of it. I mean, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, like personal, like I already talked about my fence and my pine trees, but a therapist, like I'm not going to lie. I mean, I've got a therapist and I talk to her like once a month, but I had somebody that I found out, a very, very, very good friend of mine lied to me about something significant a couple of years ago. Like I just found out now that a couple of years ago they lied to me.
Oh no shit.
But flat out lied. I went I was like, oh my God, I'm not even going to talk to my person for another couple of weeks. How am I going to get through this? I can't
Yep.
because it really put me into a tailspin. I'm not gonna lie.
That,
It was pretty bad. I
I
was
think
like
it would
ugly.
anyone.
Oh, absolutely. And it was pretty bad. So I'm like, oh my God, I should ask Chat GPT. And so I did. I'm like, Chat, I just found out this information and this person was very close to me. And I'm so upset I can't even think straight right now. Can we talk through this? Can you pretend to be my therapist?
Okay.
And it came back and would just answer, like it would ask me a question, I'd give an answer. And I love like on my phone, you can do the talk to
Mhm.
text from
Yep.
Chat GPT. So
Yep.
because I'm like, I can't talk, I can't type right now. You know, so I just found this out, I'm trying to not cry. But it would come back and it's like, take a deep breath. Can you just focus a little bit, relax. Here's some deep breathing exercises. But it started
Love
asking me
that.
questions that I'm like, oh my God, I could have never changed this situation. Like it was something that I was just party to. Like it was all happening around me. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a whole different perspective. I'm
Mhm.
I'm not so bad anymore. This is fine. Like we're still not
Well,
gonna be friends, but
and it allowed
I
you
feel better.
to take all the space that would have otherwise
Yeah.
taken up,
Yes.
and it
Yes.
and without waiting for 3 weeks and letting it fill your
Yes.
heads and letting it fuck with your
Yes.
sleep, all that stuff.
Exactly. Yes.
And it
And
allowed you to
yeah,
kind of get to a place where you felt comfortable and could talk to that
right.
person. Right? So again, no
Absolutely.
replacement,
Yeah.
but again,
Exactly. Not a replacement. Absolutely.
the time that one interaction brought back to you, and two,
Yes.
with
Yes.
both your profession and my profession, mental
Yeah.
health is so critical.
Oh, absolutely it is. Yeah.
And the misses I hear bona fide attorneys who've been in this business for way longer than I have, multiples. And they'll come back and say something, especially about the mental health component, like
Yeah.
essentially, hey, this person isn't strong enough. I was strong enough. Well, good for you. Not everyone is. Right.
Exactly.
And when you look at alcoholism rates and
Yeah.
depression rates,
True.
I mean, it's insane compared to other industries. So using it as a
Yeah.
tool for wellness in
Yeah.
your culture and in your firm, I think is, whether it's financial or otherwise, is a huge win. Right now,
Yeah.
obviously, especially big firms, but any firm or, whether it be financial or legal has legal implications with giving that kind of
Right.
training and stuff like that. So you've
Right.
got to couch it correctly. But these are also just practical skills. I think if you're not using it at some point as a professional component, you have to start with personal. And really
Yeah.
all you're worried about at that point is your data, and you're worried about that leaking or whatever the case,
Right.
which I think are valid
Right.
concerns. I'm not
Oh,
trying to
I
dismiss
agree with
them.
you. Yeah, I'm not going to dismiss either, but absolutely, I agree with you. Like there is
Yeah.
data security concerns. I mean,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, I watch what I put in. I mean, so I've got
You
a
have to.
project. I'm doing a
Yeah.
special project right now, and I need to do a summary. I've done all the work. It was a special internal audit for somebody, but I'm to a point where I need to put together a memo of what. So, the work. I already know what I did, but I have the results, and I want to make them more meaningful. So
Yep.
so I haven't done it yet, but my prompt is going to be, ask me about my project, but what would be the best like graphs or table that I can give of information back to this client about what I did? Here's the type of things I did, type of tasks. Um, how do I rank these? Like
Mhm.
how do I put this together? How do I present this back to the client? And, so that I can't wait until I sit down and do it. I just haven't had time to do it yet. But I mean, because I'm sitting here with no ideas. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I did this audit. And at this point, I just know, I
You
want to
have
say
a
maybe like
narrative,
two
right?
thirds, right? Like 2/3 of the test passed and a third, didn't. But I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know what else, where do I go with that? Like, because the client I'm thinking is going to want to know, okay, of the things that failed, what failed, how bad were they? And a lot of the failures, because what I want to point out is the items that failed, a lot of them were so minuscule. Technically, they failed, but what they failed
Don't
on
worry about it.
wasn't exactly. It was
Right.
not
Right.
prohibiting from working right. So I'm not concerned about it, but yet I still need to tell them. So how do I minimize, with it telling them what happened, but making sure they understand that it wasn't a major catastrophe. So it's just things like that that I'm like, I need ideas. I mean, that's my thing with AI is give me the ideas. Tell me, what am I not thinking? I mean, role play. If I know I have a bad conversation coming up with somebody, chat. I have to have this conversation with somebody. I don't think the message will be well received. Can you role play with me? Because I don't know what the reactions. Like I'd be a
I
horrible
love
litigator.
this. I love
Horrible
this.
litigator.
So would I. Don't worry about it.
I mean, geez. So, because at one point I thought about going into law, but I thought, back in high school, I didn't know any attorneys. I thought every attorney was a litigator. And so there was no way. I did
think
not like
that's
public
fair.
speaking,
Yeah.
did not like, to be able to talk in front of somebody. I can't think, 20 minutes after a conversation ends, I'm like, oh shit, I should have asked them this. I should have made this comment. Like all, it all lives in my head. Right. So I'm
A
like,
very
I can't do that in court.
neurodivergent trait from one to another. I recognize that. I hear you.
So I would just be horrible in court, but I'm like, prepare me for this conversation of the things they may ask me. And I'll say, this person, I'll kind of give a background to that, and just let it role play, just with AI to say, just to prepare me. And I feel better. I feel more prepared going into these conversations. So, okay. So in our introduction, we talked about a couple things we promised. So we've already talked about our inbox triage, but what about confidential lead gen scoring that doesn't leak data? Because I know this, and this is like everybody. I mean, this isn't just law firms. This is everybody.
Absolutely. So, like any good lawyer, the initial thing you have to say is it depends, right?
I know. No,
So,
CPA is the same. It
yeah,
depends.
of course. Now that we have that out of the way, the standard disclaimer, if you will.
Right.
Setting up your environment, any one environment is not going to be the same. And I truly feel like this about contracts too, right? One of my sales pitches when I talk to new potential legal clients is I am not the guy who's going to download a LegalZoom template and nothing against those, because it's better than nothing. No question.
They have their place. Yep.
They have their place. No question. Yeah. But I'm going to be the guy that's going to tailor your suit. I'm going to make you look real good on your wedding.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
That's always been my kind of ethos behind what I'm going to do. I'm not going to just download a template or do whatever that comes with that. So the specificity that AI lets you have, I think, is remarkable. So for lead gen scoring, no one size fits all. So I'd say,
okay.
And again,
and that makes sense.
Well, and software is actually built that way. Hey, we can accommodate your needs here. We can accommodate your needs here. Right. So, plenty of very big firms run on Clio and run on MyCase.
Yeah.
Plenty of solo firms run on Clio and MyCase and
absolutely.
Like yeah. So when you talk about designing something that you're trying to build for people with that in mind, one, defining your target audience is probably easier first, but also getting to the point where you have the ability to understand what makes you tick, what makes you authentic. And again, you're kind of getting into the psychology again. So I'll kind of run back to that. I really urge people to talk to people about their business model and their business plan. I can't tell you, I don't know that I've had one client that has a bona fide business plan that's published for their firm. I've worked with firms that are 150 strong. I've worked with firms that are 10 strong, and their business plan is somewhere in development, somewhere back here.
Right. Or we did it 5 years ago.
Right. And they haven't updated it. In which, hey, I get it. I got a ton of shit too. I got three kids at home under 8. I get all of it. So there's no, I'm not wagging my finger at anyone, but again,
same.
Plan your work and work your plan, right? So aligning everyone under that type of back end. Hey, here's our vision. Here's our mission. Here's our purpose. Use AI to flush that out. Tell it about yourself, right? Now, again, under the right confidentiality components.
Absolutely.
You're not saying, hey, I represent client X, Y, and Z.
Right.
But at the same time, these are the types of clients I represent. These are the types of things I'm doing. Work with me to develop a plan to scale more profitably, cut out the noise, the 80-20 principle, all that jazz, right?
Yes.
How do I apply this to my specific situation? And that's what, the private coaching I do really helps people dive into that and figure out, hey, for your specific firm, your niche, your location, whatever it is, how do we develop the tailored plan for you, right? Like I said, I'm not going to pull a suit off the rack. I'm going to give
Right.
this bad boy to you as it stands, right? Or I want to teach you how to do it yourself. And with all
Oh,
the tools and
absolutely.
knowledge out there,
Right.
it's there's never been more opportunity, which I think is what's so exciting. And I think there are a lot of people that are very scared about AI. And I think there are a lot of people that are very nervous about even touching it to start with.
Yeah.
But it is going to be exactly as prominent, if not more so, than cloud computing, email.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a staple of our profession going forward. And we're going to be expected to be able to use it. A lot of people are afraid of telling clients ABA 512 tells us that we actually have to disclose it. And I say, hell yeah, you should be. You should be, advertising the advantages that you are baking into your firm for your clients. I am bringing the time down, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm going to change my business model on how I bill hourly versus flat? That's 3 other podcasts,
Maybe, we can talk about that. We can bring Kim on.
100% we should. I play devil's advocate just to hear what she has to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And also too, some of the financial acuity that I think you could probably speak to way more than I could, but give me some financial acuity about my firm, especially if it's a small and solo.
Yeah.
And I'm running 2 different companies now that have very small teams on both ends. How do I keep track of this? How do I plan my day? How do I schedule these components? How do I understand my finances for the growth I want to make and the life I want to lead and the time I want to buy back?
Yeah.
Right.
No, absolutely. Yeah. No, I love all of that. Absolutely. And then the last thing we said we would talk about is searchable data rooms for M&A deals. Because I have somebody I follow on LinkedIn who does accounting. Like he tries to match up, CPAs, accountants, bookkeepers, tries to match up firms. I kind of had to take a step back because he has amazing posts that are like a novel to read. I'm like, oh, I don't have time right now. I have too much going on. But it would be nice. It's save for later. Those are the save for later kind of things. But yeah, I mean, how would you use AI to go through? I kind of know how I would go through things, but how would you go with M&A stuff?
So with everything comes the caveat of, hey, you have to take account for everything that ABA 512 says. I've got a bunch of stuff on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
A ton of smarter people than me have a bunch of stuff on LinkedIn about this. Go read it. Read ABA 512. It's worth I don't know, 30 minutes it'll take you to read and digest.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Once you solve for the confidentiality component, which, if you're a Microsoft or Google user, hey, they have access to all your emails. They have access to your OneDrive, Google Drive. AI is, there's going to have to be some sort of governance that comes in and allows for a certain amount of usage of AI without the penalties that the people trying to scare you are talking to you about. And I'm not trying to diminish that at all. All I'm saying is that there's going to, at some point, be some sort of common sense component. I can't tell you how many lawyers I talk to that still say, hey, I can't send any documents via email. Well, you talk to any of my business clients and they're going to say, F you, buddy. I like, I'll find someone else who does that by email. Well, okay. Right protection in your engagement agreement, right protection in how you react with them, things like that, figure that out. So for your particular instance, let's say the confidentiality component has been taken care of. And let's say you're operating under the auspice that, hey, Google Workspace doesn't train your data on anything that you give it. It doesn't train the larger LLMs on. Let's say it meets the confidentiality requirements. Notebook LM is one of my favorite tools. And
I agree. I would love it.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's a very specific tool. You can't use it like you would use ChatGPT or Claude or Grok or fill in the blank.
Exactly.
But it is a siloed LLM that you build yourself.
Yeah.
And I love the way they do it, especially from a neurodivergent standpoint. They put up on the left side, hey, this is your sources, the middle is your chat, and the right is your studio. Here's where you create cool shit.
Exactly. Right.
If you upload the right sources. So this is how I originally got into figuring out agential AI. I ran a Perplexity search. I said, hey, find me 100 YouTube videos that talked about agential AI. I had Manus AI go through and copy all their URLs. I uploaded them to Notebook LM. And then I started talking to it. And then every time it gave me a guide or a reference or a terms to follow, I would say, hey, here from the studio, I'm going to go ahead and add this as a source. And so now, anytime I want to find out something about agential AI, I start there and I say, hey, you know,
Yeah.
do I have the access to this stuff? The one bad thing about that is stuff gets outdated very quickly, right? So
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
first did this, Google was on 2.0, Gemini 2.0. You know,
Okay.
3 months after they upgraded to 2.5. Well, okay,
Yeah.
now everything's kind of changed, right?
Right.
So go through, run it back, kind of do that same
Yeah.
process, have that workflow. I created an agent for the workflow to do that for me every once in a while,
Nice.
which is cool.
That is very cool.
And that's also where I do my prompts repository. So like my prompt factory is what I call it for me. And that's what I advise
Yep.
everyone to do. Hey, get some of the bona fide prompts that have worked really well for you and keep track of
Yeah.
those. And I
Yeah.
keep track
I
of
have a
them.
document.
Well, and I'd urge you to put them into a relational database. So 3 tools come to mind right away. 1, Notebook LM, 2,
Okay.
Notion.so, which for
Oh,
those
yeah.
who don't know is like a wiki type.
Yeah.
Wiki is way underselling it. Notion,
Yeah.
I've run my entire practice on Notion since 2017.
Oh, wow.
And that's my project management. That's how we deliver our
Right.
documents. Notion is unbelievable. So Notebook LM, Notion, and then Airtable will be another one, depending on
Oh,
what you already use.
something I haven't dabbled in yet, but it's on the horizon. I know.
Airtable is dangerous for sure.
Right.
But figuring out what you already use, using that. Don't just hire a new tool to hire a new shiny tool. Use what you have to start. But Notebook LM is really cool is because, you know, I keep my prompt library in Notion. And then
Okay.
every 2 weeks, I will say, hey, export it, export the entire
Oh,
library. I
right.
will put that into a Notebook LM. And that then becomes
Yeah.
where I go to for my prompts to go to, you know, any LLM I want to use, Claude,
Right.
ChatGPT, whatever it is.
Right.
And it has all the guidelines, right? I use Claude to create guidelines based off those. So figuring out how you can use it to build assets for yourself, taking a quick course, teaching me how to do this. Carolyn Elephant
Yeah.
did
Oh,
a
like
very,
Carolyn.
very cool event
Yeah.
called the AI Teach-In. It's available for
Cool. Absolutely. Yeah, I saw it.
Go look it out. She very graciously invited me to speak, and I talked about this.
Yeah.
So I have, you know, we have the video ready and locked and loaded. It gives you the basics. We'll put, if you're willing, I'll put in the show notes the document.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So I sent everyone, hey, here's your master prompt creation prompt, right? Here's the prompt to use to create other prompts. Use AI to help you use AI. That's another one of my biggest pieces of advice.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know like for Notebook LM, I'll put in, so I've got, like, I follow Alex Ramosi. And so
he's
I've
great.
gone out like
Love
his best. I love him. I love that he's just so relatable, I guess. I don't know.
He is.
But
he is. He has a way. Just like walk on the beach with him and soak it in the rain.
Exactly.
He's pretty good looking too. Just saying.
Oh, I don't know about that, but
fair enough. Fair enough. I'll say it.
Okay. But I've gone through like because my favorite videos that he does on YouTube are like an hour long and like just too long for me. I need like 5 minutes. So I've gone and taken my favorite long videos of his and I loaded them all into a notebook on Notebook LM. And I love that I can just click a button and do mind map. And then it just goes through all the different sources. And it's like, these are the things he talks about. And then from this one general topic, these are the offshoots. And so then I can start, now I see it. And I was never a big mind map person, but now that I'm seeing it, like if you ask me to do a mind map, I'm like, what?
No thanks. Yeah, it's too much work to produce.
Oh my God, I have to think about it.
But if you produce it for me, it's very usable, right? Absolutely.
But so I did the little mind map and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I have a problem with this. And then I can start, clicking into the details. And then it prompts, like it gives me the ideas of what to prompt, what to ask. And okay, so let's talk about, in his book, $100 million offers, he talks about this and, but I can start asking questions and it takes me directly to the video, like the one video that has the best answer, gives you the the transcription.
The timestamp.
And the timestamp.
Yep.
Go right to it. Like, oh, this is perfect. So instead of me sitting and watching every single video for a whole hour, I can just load it in and just be like, okay, highlight this for me. Give me the summary. Give me the key points. What do I need to walk away with? What are my to-dos? So Notebook LM is amazing. That was a good discovery.
just to add on to that, you can then use that once you create those to-dos or, hey, what I need to do, you can then create from the studio. You can say, hey, create this as a source. So the document you created from the information you can put back into your zeitgeist, continue to filter it, continue to build it. The other very cool feature that I don't know that a lot of people know about is you can create a podcast from your sources. So you can dictate.
I have not done that yet, but that would be awesome.
Let me tell you, I have a half an hour commute each way each day. So, you know, I would love to read all the things. I can't.
But can't. Yeah.
And so, you know, if I'm feeling particularly froggy and don't want to jam out to Ozzy, rest in peace.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace. If I don't want to do that and I'm able to kind of get some work done on the way in or the way home, figuring out and having a queue of these podcasts that I'm supposed to listen to. And again, they do a great job and it sounds very natural. It's two people talking, a man and a woman typically. And they put out, hey, here's an overview of everything you did. So for a contract I was trying to draft, I put in like 6 or 7, you know, templates that I've used in the past or something like that. I used to say, hey, I need these, you know, these changed, this changed. This is kind of the framework I want for this new one. And then, hey, I'll put that into a podcast and say, hey, talk me through the issues. Let me think about it. Let me sit with it. So instead of staying up tonight and worrying about it and not being able to sleep about it, hey, I've got actionable insights that I can, you know, move on or send to my team to move on. Google LM should be in every lawyer's repertoire for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's amazing. So yeah, I mean, just the things, I mean, again, confidentiality. I mean, there's a lot of things where I'll go through, if I have a document, you know, in Word, I'll go through and take out every single name. So I don't redact it, but I do at least I don't think it's officially redacting because redacting is the black mark. Because I always feel that exactly, it's find and replace, find and replace. So wherever it says ABC Corp, now make that client, you know, company A. So I'll go through that whole, you know, just to, you know, make sure that whatever I'm feeding in, it can't figure out what that is, you know? So, but yeah, there's just so many amazing things to do with AI. And
there really are.
Like I said, we started talking in March and I'm like, oh, we could probably sit for hours. I mean, just, you know, all the things, right? So
all the things, no question.
We're going to wrap up, but one thing, you know, I'm going to have to edit the video because you have in the background, you have a Michigan helmet and I'm in Ohio. So like, go Bucks.
Those are fighting words. I'm just going to throw it out lightly. No, I know you're not kidding. So I know you're from Akron. I'm just going to throw out, we're on a 4-game winning streak.
I know it sucks.
It's the first time in the last 25 years I can say something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take my opportunity to brag a little bit. Go Blue.
No, and you should. So in my house, so I went to Akron U. So I actually wore blue and gold for college.
You're halfway.
I know. I'm halfway there. But
the Zips, right?
The Akron Zips. Yep.
That's right.
Yep. Good old Zippy kangaroo. I don't know how that works, but
I went to Ohio State. I was like, come on, let's go.
I wanted to go to Ohio State so bad, but I had a scholarship to Akron, and my parents were like, "College paid for, $1 bazillion in debt." Like, what?
That's an easy choice, especially for a financial professional.
Exactly. I'm like, crap. That wasn't my choice, but I'm like, fine, I'll go. But Ohio State loved it. But my brother, he was trying to play football in college. He didn't, but he was like Michigan. So like every, you know, Thanksgiving weekend, it was always battle, you know, in our house. And so it was great for the longest time.
I was going to say you had a very healthy time period where you got to brag. So, you know, now it's our time, chill out. And, it's, you know, and I really don't like the red and black and white down there. I'm not a fan. Although, don't tell anybody. I will say I did apply and almost went to Ohio State Law School. So
seriously,
but don't tell anybody though.
It's just between you, me, and everyone else.
100%. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. No, I will not edit the video. It will still be there. I promise. So, but Josh, thank you so much. I mean, so we're going to wrap up. but I will definitely in the show notes. We talked about adding a couple things. I will make sure that your contact information's in there. And then, links to your websites, and, that way we can get people connected to you, because you're doing a ton of good, not only in your law firm, but in your AI consulting. It's just amazing. And, whatever I can do, I appreciate you. I mean,
likewise.
I love these conversations, and I hope others are excited, and but definitely don't have reservations, contact Josh. This is amazing. There's just great stuff. And I'm just so grateful for AffiniPay for having us on, their virtual webinar. And are you going to be at their Kaleidoscope in September?
I am. I was about to speak. I'm excited. We're going to have a good time.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I can't wait.
I cannot wait to book my tickets. There's so many people there that I can't wait to see. And that's just the people I already know. I can't even imagine all the people that are going to show up I don't know yet. I'm excited. And because this will be my first in-person. So the virtual webinars we've been doing with AffiniPay, they have the speakers come in person, but they're virtual, right? And so for attendees, and so Kaleidoscope's going to be amazing. That'll be my first in-person, I think, in maybe 2 years. So it's been a while. Yeah.
Good for
a while since I've been in person to a big event, right?
Yep.
So definitely excited. Hopefully I lose 150 pounds before I get there, but
no worries. 100, 150, 170, something like that. No big deal.
I mean, it's only 8 weeks away.
Yeah, whatever.
Or not even. It's probably 6 weeks away. No problem, right? Oh, but no, this has been a wonderful conversation. I really appreciate you being here, and I wish you the best with everything. And I can't wait. We're gonna have to do this again, because we could probably do this every week.
Absolutely, let's go.
We need to start our own podcast. It's just Josh and Kelley.
Let's get it. It sounds like Regis and Kelley. I'm not quite as austere.
Yeah, okay, let's figure that out. Yeah,
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. We'll get the Irish version, right?
Right. So, but thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Kelley. Appreciate you. Talk soon.
Hey, before you go, grab my new book, Plugging the Leaks: 10 Ways Lawyers Waste Money and Simple Fixes. It's a quick read, plain English, packed with checklists, templates, the 7 to 60-day collections escalator, and the Core 4 dashboard, so you can keep more of every dollar you earn. Now, you can order the paperback or Kindle on Amazon, or you can download it for free, the PDF format, using the link in the show notes below. Remember that profit is something you intentionally plan for in the beginning. It's not a potential bonus at the end of the year. Thanks for listening.